Buenas noches, profesor. Buenas noches, estudiantes. Siendo las 7 en punto, damos inicio a nuestra sesión recurrente de Composición 2 con el profesor Santos Monrroy. Profesor, paso a compartir los parámetros de la sesión.
Vale, está bien.
Queridos estudiantes, estos son los parámetros de las sesiones por videoconferencia. Las sesiones se graban, o sea que podemos verlas nuevamente en nuestra plataforma virtual. Les solicitamos que por favor silencien sus micrófonos y puedan activarlos cuando quieran hacer consultas o aportes con el permiso del docente. Les pedimos que mantengan su cámara activa. De no poder hacerlo, enviar sus excusas por el chat de Zoom. O de lo contrario, serán retirados de la sesión y les serán restados puntos de látero o valoración del docente. Mi rol como moderador es facilitar y apoyar en la parte técnica. Las consultas las hacemos vía chat personal o general. Les exhorto a tener bolígrafo y papel para hacer sus anotaciones y aprovechar al máximo esta sesión. Listo, profesor.
Okay, let's start the class. Today we're going to talk about type of poems. So this is going to be session number 2. We're going to see 12 different kind of poems. So let's start with the first one. We have sonnets, but let's see what sonnets is about. Sonnets are practically synonymous with Shakespeare, but there are actually two different kind of famous poetic form. Having originated in 13th century Italy, the sonnet usually deals with love and has two common forms. The Petrarchan name for its famous practitioner, the poet Petrarch, and the Shakespearean, also known as the English sonnet. Each type contains 14 lines, but comes with its own set of rules. So let's see. For the Petrarchan sonnet, we have characteristics and rules. 2 stanzas. Last class, we discussed the meaning of stanzas. We said that stanzas is similar to a paragraph. The difference between stanzas and paragraph is that paragraph has at least 5 sentences. The introduction sentence, 3 body sentences, and the conclusion sentence. But in the stanza, when we talk about poems, we can have stanzas of 2 lines. So that's the difference. Stanzas can be shorter or even longer than a paragraph. Then we have the presents an argument, observation, or questions in the first 8 lines. turn or volta between 8th and 9th lines. And second stanza, answer the question or issue posed in the first rhyme scheme, the A, B, B, A, and so on. So let me, I'm going to introduce some examples of Petrarchan sonnet. Based on this one, because I have the two kind of sonnet which we have Petrarchan and Shakespearean sonnet. The oldest one was the Petrarchan. And they have a specific characteristic as the ones that I already mentioned. Also, we can say that the Petrarchan has the structure and rhyme scheme. They also are they are key differences to look for when we are comparing Petrarchan and Shakespearean. So let's see after these two presentations, I'm going to explain this one. Then we're going to discuss what are the differences and similarities between Petrarchan and Shakespearean sonnet. So for the Shakespearean sonnet, we have, this is an example. We have, my mistress' eyes are nothing like the sun. Coral is far more red than her lips red. If snow be white, why then her breasts are dun? If hers be wires, black wires grow on her head. I have seen roses damasked red and white, but no such roses see I in her cheeks. And in some perfumes is there more delight than in the breath that from my mistress reeks. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music hath a far more pleasant sound. I grant I never saw a goddess go. My mistress, when she walks, threads on the ground, and yet by heaven I think my love as rare as any she believed with false compare. So we're gonna take some minutes to practice this one. Remember that in poems, in this one that we are talking about today, sonnet, we talk about a lot about the meters. Remember, I also explained it in last class, the syllables. Sometimes in a meter, we have an stress on stress syllables plus stress syllables. But it also the rhyme in the pronunciation. So I'm gonna keep this slide on the screen to practice. We can read this one again just to practice the meter, the pronunciation and the rhyme. Then I will ask you some questions. These questions are going to be diagnostic questions, just to know how much you already know about this topic. Remember that this topic is already available on the platform. So if you have any doubt, you can also go there and get more information about these two examples, the Petrarchan and the Shakespearean sonnet. Okay, something that is very important to know is the type of stanza. The type of stanza are based on the line. Remember that a stanza, it can be from 2 lines to 8 lines, but they have a name. For example, if I talk about this one, the couplet means let me 2 lines. So when we already get the idea about the stanzas, we can know if we are talking about Petrarchan or if we are talking about Shakespearean. Remember that a stanza is similar to a paragraph. So if I have an essay, I would say, okay, in this essay, we have 4 paragraphs. The first paragraph is the introduction. The paragraph number 2 and paragraph number 3 is going to be my body paragraph. And the last paragraph, it's going to be my conclusion paragraph. In poems, we don't say paragraph. In poems, we say stanzas. So there are poems that vary the amount of lines per stanzas. So if we have a couplet, means couplet is an stanza. How many lines? 2 lines. So after couplets, we have the tercet. Let's see what is the tercet. The tercet, it's when we have 3 lines. And in that way, we can we continue with the quatrain. The quatrain, when we have 4 lines, this is very important to know. Then we have the quintet. The quintet, which we have 5 lines. Then we have the sestet. Then we have the septet, 7 lines. And finally, we have the octave. 8 lines. These are stanzas. They go from 2 lines up to 8 lines. So let's see something that I have here. So if we are talking about, for example, the Petrarchan sonnet, let me see. No, I'm just explaining the different type of stanzas. No, so far we don't have to do, we don't have assessment so far. Just take notes about the different type of stanzas. So then if I ask you, for example, if I ask you what's the difference between Petrarchan and Shakespearean sonnet, you say, okay, the Petrarchan has 2 stanzas or 3 stanzas. Let me see. Okay, let's analyze this one. It says that the difference between Shakespearean and Petrarchan, talking about stanzas, is the structure. Remember, in poem, we have stanzas. We don't have paragraph. Stanzas is like when you have a poetry and you say, I have to learn the first, second, third estrofas. In Spanish, in English, we say stanzas. So in the Petrarchan, we have, for the Petrarchan, we have 3 quatrains. So 3 quatrains mean that in the Petrarchan we have 3 stanzas of 4 lines. 3 stanzas of 4 lines and a concluding couplet. So if we have a Petrarchan, we're going to see 3 stanzas of 4 lines. So we have 4 quatrains, and the concluding stanza, it's going to be a couplet, 2 lines. This is when we talk about Petrarchan. So when we say, if I ask you, this poem is a Petrarchan or this poem is a Shakespearean, you say, it's a Petrarchan because it has 5 stanzas. The first stanza, the first 4 stanza is a quatrains. I just say 4 stanzas of 4 lines, and the last one is a couplet because it has 2 lines. We're gonna see this in the examples. And also, when we talk about the Petrarchan, we can say, okay, the Petrarchan has 18 lines, the Petrarchan, because we have 4 quatrains, means 16 lines, and 1 couplet, 2 lines, we can say, okay, this is a 18 lines. Okay, our next task for this one is we are gonna have some volunteers for read the Shakespearean sonnet. I don't know, each one of you want to read this sonnet, because then we're going to analyze the meter and the rhyme. If you want to read it, you can get your microphone in and read the Shakespearean sonnet.
Shakespearean sonnet. My mistress' eyes are nothing like the sun. Coral is far more red than her lips red. If snow be white, why then her breasts are done. If hairs be wires, black wires grow on her head. I have seen roses, damask, red and white, but such roses see I in her cheeks, and in some perfumes is there more delight than in the breath that from my mistress reeks. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music had a far more pleasant sound. I grant I never saw a goddess go. My mistress, when she walks, treads on the ground. And yet, by heaven, I think my love as rare as any she believed with false compare.
Thank you. Okay, now let's analyze this one. We are gonna find in this one, the last one, in the last sentence that says, And yet, by heaven, I think my love as rare as energy believed with false compare. Donde decía as energy believed, déjeme ver si lo puedo anotar aquí. Vamos a ver. Para que vean dónde terminaba. Let me see. Ok, vamos a ver aquí. Ok, ahora sí. Because I have just one sentence, but the last sentence was 2 lines. I just have one line. And yet by heaven, I think my love as rare. Then the last line started as energy believed with false compare. Allí sí hubo, I have a mistake because I should have an extra line. But let's analyze. Shakespearean sonnet. The Shakespearean sonnet has, let's see, 14 lines. Okay, 14 lines. That's why I have a mistake here because this is the last line. As energy believed with false compare, this is my line 14. How can analyze a Shakespearean sonnet? Okay. They have 14 lines. Petrarchan has 18 lines. This is one of the difference. Petrarchan has 18 lines and a Shakespearean sonnet has 14 lines. Okay, this is the first detail to analyze. Then we have the rhyme. Sometimes the structure it's going to be in this way. Cuando hablamos, when we talk about rhymes, we need to get the stanzas. Okay, in the Shakespearean sonnet, we have 3 stanzas. Como se los puse as the different type of stanzas, we have the couplet when we have 2 lines. We have beside the couplet, do you remember the tercet, the quatrian, the quintet, the septet, the septet, the octave, and the octave line. Shakespearean have 3 stanzas que vienen siendo, they are quatrian. The quatrian are 4 lines. Let's analyze this one. Okay, if I have 3 stanzas, quatrians, 4 lines, and 1 stanza, couplet. So I have, it says, 3 stanzas, quatrian lines. The quatrian, so we're gonna choose this one. Okay, let's see. I have this one. This is going to be my first one. My first quatrian stanza. This is going to be my second one. Four lines. This is going to be my third one. If you see, this is Shakespearean. I have 3 stanzas, quatrians, because they have 4 lines. So if you see, the first 3 stanzas, they are quatrian. That's why I explained the kind of stanza. And the last one, if you see here, my last stanza, it's a couplet because they have 2 lines. This is the couplet. So if I ask you, what is an stanza? Okay, an stanza is represented by lines. So now you say, what is important to know how many lines a stanza has? It's important because of the rhyme. In the Shakespearean sonnet, the rhyme is by a stanza. That's why you say this. When you say let me see here. When we have to practice the pronunciation, the rhyme, we have A, B, A, B. And what is A, B, A, B? Because the rhythm go like this. In my first stanza, let me see. In my first stanza, I'm gonna use this one. This is going to be my A. This is going to be my B. This is going to be also my A, and this is going to be also my B. And this is the way I pronounce. This is going to be my B, and this is the rhyme. So I have A, B, A, B. So if I read, my mistress' eyes are nothing like sun. If I snow be white, white them breasts are done. If you see, en esta stanza, in this one, the first line, it's my A. It rhymes with the line number 3. If you see, like the sun, line number 3, we have are done. And this is the way we rhyme. That is important to know what is an stanza, the type of the stanza, and the A, B is the rhyme. This is the way they have to rhyme. Sometime you're gonna also you can see, for example, A, B, or C is because they rhyme in that way. When we have C is when we have a sestet, a stanza of 6 lines. But in this way, when we just have 4 lines, we have a B. Questions so far? I don't know if you have a question. Let me see. Okay. So now we are clear about what is an stanza. So the only thing that we need to know is we need to, for example, in this one, I didn't separate the stanzas. But if you go to read a poem from a book, you will see the separation between stanzas. The same happen if you're reading a book. You see the space between paragraphs. The same happen here. And it's easy to recognize the stanzas because they have a space between stanzas. So, okay, so I will give you some time just to take note about this one. This is for Shakespearean sonnet. This is for a Shakespearean sonnet. The Petrarchan in the Petrarchan we have 14 lines too, but the difference is that the Petrarchan has 2 stanzas. Two stanzas. The first one in the Petrarchan we have the octave stanza, 1 octave stanza, and one sestet stanza. That's the difference between Petrarchan and Shakespeareans. Shakespearean and Petrarchan, they have 14 lines. Shakespearean have 3 stanzas of quatrains and 1 couplet. The Petrarchan has the same 14 lines, but the difference is that the Petrarchan has 2 stanzas, 1 octave stanza and 1 sestet stanza. That's the difference between Petrarchan and Shakespearean. Okay, let's practice. We are gonna do 1 stanza. We are gonna do a quatrain stanza. This is going to be our activity. I am going to erase here because we are gonna do our first activity. So, activity 1. We are gonna do write one quatrain stanza with the ABA Okay, we are gonna write 1 quatrain stanza with the ABAB rhyme. You can invent your stanza, but it has to follow the A-B rhyme. And when you finish, you can write your stanza in the chat. You can invent your stanza. The stanza must be created by you. But the idea is that you have to have a quatrain stanza with the A-B rhyme. And here you have the example in this Shakespearean sonnet. We can take 10 minutes for this activity. Write one quatrain stanza with the A-B rhyme. Sí, a free topic stanza. Okay, in this one, we need to change, for example, remember that the rhyme is A with A and B with B. And you rhyme your stanza A and B. For example, in the A, you end sway, and in B, you say lay. You need to change the rhyme. Remember that the rhyme is A with A and B with B. Yes, the position. Let's see the second one. In a garden bloom arose, its petal soft in sweet repose, a fragrant scent that softly flows in gentle breeze that softly blows. The same happened in this one. We need to change the position because when I have, ustedes lo están haciendo en esta manera. Están haciendo que rime line 1 with line 2 and line 3 with line 4. For example, if I have A means B. A means C. Then I have B means run, and B means sun. Ustedes me lo están poniendo in this position. You have B, C, run, sun. And the idea is A, B, A, B. And you are doing A, B, B. If you see the example is A, B, A, B. So if I have A sería B, run, C, sun. In this way. So this is going to be my, let me see here. This is going to be my A, and this is going to be my B, and this is going to be my B. In this position. A, B, C. B and B, run, sun. This is the quatrain stanza in this position. Y ustedes lo están haciendo, you did it in this way. You did it like this. You did it like this, A, B, B. But the idea is A, B, like this one. The orange is the correct form, the orange. This is the correct. Let me see. Okay, now check your stanzas and rewrite it in the chat. Let's see. In fields of green where wildflowers sway, a symphony of bird song fills the air. The sun's warm kiss upon the earth does lay, as nature beauty dances without care. Yes, in this way. Let's see this one. In a garden bloomed a rose, a fragrant scent that softly flows, its petals soft in sweet repose, in a gentle breeze that softly blows. Yes, very good job. Now you got it. Okay, let's continue. Now let's talk about villanelle. Villanelles have even more specific rules than sonnets. So in sonnets, we talk about Petrarchan and Shakespearean. Now let's talk about villanelle, which is something different. The villanelle have even more specific rules than sonnets. Luckily, many of the lines are repetitions, but this means you'll have to take care to make those lines meaningful. The characteristics and rules. The villanelle has 19 lines. Remember that sonnet has 14 lines. Villanelle has 19 lines. 5 stanzas of 3 lines each. How we call when we have a stanza of 3 lines? You remember when we have 3 lines, this is a tercet, remember. So villanelle have even, they have 5 stanza of 3 lines each. So they have 5 tercet. They have 5 tercet stanzas. One closing stanza of 4 lines. So they have a quatrain stanza. So villanelle has 5 tercet and 1 quatrain. And the rhyme scheme is A, B, A, A, B, A, A, B, A in this way. And the last one, the last stanza, for example, when we say on the rhyme scheme, the last one, this one, I'm talking about I'm talking about this one. Because this is the quatrain. In this one, the quatrain rhymes in this way. A, B, A, A. So let's see. And we have line one repeats in line 6, 12, and 18. And line 3 repeats in line 9, 15, and 19. This is just to see that some lines are repeated, so are exactly the same. In a villanelle, that's the difference between sonnet and villanelle. Because in villanelle, we can find lines that are repeated exactly the same. That's the difference. And also because they have 18 lines. Then we have The Walking by Theodore Roth. Let me go back again, and we are gonna use this to explain with the example. So this is a villanelle here. This is what I mentioned before, that we have the space between a stanza. So we have based on what I explained so far, we have uh, 5 tercet stanza. So this is an stanza. If you see, this is an stanza of 3 lines. 3 lines stanzas are called tercet, tercet stanza. The last one, in this case, the last stanza is a quatrain. It's a quatrain because it has 4 lines. The rhythm of the stanza. The rhythm of the stanza is in this way. We have A, B, A. Let's see. For the rhythm, we have A, B, A. Let's see. This is the way they rhyme. They rhyme. A, B, A. Let's see. We have slow, go. And this is the rhyme meter. A, B, A. So we have slow, go. The same happened here. No, slow. You, go. How, slow, slow. Do, go. But when we go to the last one, the quatrain, in the quatrain, we have A, B, A, A. The quatrain is different because for the quatrain, we have, in the quatrain, we have A, we have A, B, A, A. This is what we have for the quatrain. If we say A in the quatrain, we have for the quatrain, we have this one. No, slow, go. And that's the difference in a villanelle. The villanelle is 19 lines, 5 stanza of 3 lines or tercet stanzas, and last one is a quatrain stanza. The last one is a quatrain stanza, and the rhyme is for the tercet stanza A, B, A, and for the last one, the rhyme is A, B, A, A. Okay, now let's do our second activity. Okay, activity. Okay, we're gonna write a quatrain a stanza of A rhyme meter, as we have in this example, in the last one. So once again, it's going to be a free topic stanza using this rhyme, A rhyme meter. Okay, let's see your examples. You have in twilight's hush the star align, the moon casts shadows soft and fine, in whisper secrets of the night, a universe of dreams stay flight. In the heart of night, the stars so bright, their twinkling whisper a gentle invite. They dance and shimmer with pure delight, a celestial ballet, a wondrous sight. Excellent. Okay, let's continue with haiku. The haiku originated in 17th century Japan. Although they usually refer to nature, the only real rule applies to the number of syllables in each line. So you can let your imagination run wild with this one. Haiku characteristics and rules are 3 lines. Line 1 contains 5 syllables, not words. Line 2 contains 7 syllables. And line 3 contains 5 syllables. What are syllables in English? They are sounds. Por eso dice not words, because they are sounds. What is a 5 syllables? Let's see. Five syllables, for example, if I have the word I have the word comfortable. So if I have these words, let's see how many sounds I have. Comfortable, 4 sounds, 4 syllables, sorry, 4 syllables. So comfortable, I have 4 syllables. So the haiku, it's a poem that just have 3 lines, and the lines are counted by syllables. So if I have comfortable, a 5 syllables, it can be this one, 5 syllables. If you see, this is an example of 5 syllable. It's comfortable. It's comfortable, 5 syllables. So the haiku, it's counted by syllables. And in that way, you say, and they just have 3 lines. That is why we have syllables. In this one, we count it by syllables. Remember that we also use syllables in English. It's important to know how many syllables a word has, because we can do many things using syllables. For example, when we are talking about comparative and superlative, we use syllables. The rule says if the word has 2 syllables, we use the comparative ER. Example, happy, happier. So syllables are important in English. In this specific case, we are talking about syllables, no words. Words and syllables are different. Sometimes we can have a word with different syllables. So if I have a small, one syllable. and in this way. Let's see this one. Ekpraxis poems. What is ekpraxis? Comes from the Greek word for description, and that's exactly what this poem should do. Vividly describe a painting, statue, photograph, or story. One famous example is found in the Iliad, where Homer refers to Achilles' shield. And this is the example. Ekprastic by Rebecca Wolf. There are some things up there uptown I want to see. I want to see, I am going to look at that and see. I want to go up and see that show, that show. I went to see, there are some things up there uptown I want to look at that and see, I am going to see. What I look at when I look vessel. So this is an example of a ekprastic poem, which means a description. Then we have, I stood to see, I went to stand to look, to see, venturing further, I went outside myself to look. At that wall, it fed. There was a box inside that was not blank. I saw it. It was really different from an aura that things had. Colors, the things was talking to itself and spoke to me not incidentally. Then we have concrete poems. What are concrete? Poetry is designed to take a particular shape or form on the page. Poets can manipulate spacing or layout to emphasize a theme or important elements in the text, or sometimes they can take the literal shape of their subject. I have an example. The Altar by George Herbert was intended to resemble a church altar. A broken altar lowered the servant roars, made of a horrid and cemented with tears, whose parts are as die-handed frame, no workman's tool hath touched the same. A horrid alone is such a stone as nothing but thy paw or dot cut, wherefore each part of my heart meets in these frames to praise that thy name. If I change to hold my pace, this stone to prize thee may not cease. Oh, let thy blessed sacrifice be mine, and sanctify this altar to be thine. This was the example. Then we have elegy. The elegy is another type of poem that lacks particular rules, but usually it's written in mourning following a death. They can be written for a particular person or treat the subject of loss more generally. And then we have the examples. Oh, captain, my captain, rise up and hear the bells. Rise up, for you the flag is flown. For you the bugle thrills. For you bouquets and ribbon wreaths. For you the chores of crowding. For you they call the swaying mass, the eager faces turning. Here, Captain, dear father, these are beneath your head. It is some dream that you on the deck, you fallen cold and dead. My captain does not answer, his lips are pale and still. My fathers do not feel my arm, he has not pulse nor will. The ship is anchored, safe and sound, its voyage close and done. From fearful trip, the victor ship comes in with object won. Exalt of chords and ring of bells, but I with mirthful tread walk the deck, my captain lies, falling cold and dead. Okay, then we have the assessment. The assessment is also based in which you have to do on the platform. It's just here to explain something similar for the activity that you have on the platform. But in this one, you have to. It says, write a paragraph about 15 words, explaining what this point means to you. What you have to do on the platform for this activity, in this activity, you have to choose one of the poem. For example, if I have here, let's talk about someone that is, I'm gonna choose this one. We're gonna take 10 minutes to read this poem, and then you have to explain in your own words what this part of the poem represents to you. It can be short. I wrote 15 words, but if you have less, don't worry. It's just you have to read it, analyze it, and then in a very short lines, you have to tell me what it represents to you. This part of the, or what are your understanding of this poem. Okay, well done. Let's wait until the second interpretation. Okay, let's see. We say that it's praised the idea that only through divine intervention can the speaker's hardened heart be softened and transformed into a suitable offering. Okay, very good job. So now, okay, we finish here. And remember, work on the platform, the forum and the activities. And also you have the 2 readings if you want to investigate, to understand a little bit more, you can use the readings on the platform. So I see you next week.
Listo, profesor. No tengo más consultas o aportes. Podemos dar como finalizada la sesión de la noche de hoy. Tengan todos una excelente noche. Gracias, profesor. Gracias,
Gracias.
estudiantes.